All righty. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome back to Late Night Green, Late Night Edition. What's up, brother, man?
Philly Phil.
Todd Father in the house. How are you, man?
I'm very well.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Happy New Year, man.
It's our first show back.
Yeah, hope it's a good year.
It's going to be a great year, man. I'm excited about it. So anything eventful over the holidays?
Nah, nice, good time.
I know
relaxing.
you were spreading some of the Cough Country word you were telling me a little bit.
Yeah, putting the word out a little bit. And,
yeah.
Getting recharged for the new year.
Everybody's excited to hear what you have to say.
As
long as you're not talking about the Cowboys, people care, right?
Man, nobody listen to me right now.
Nobody gives a shit unless you don't. If they don't know, they don't know, right?
Hey, I'm joining whoever's in the playoffs right now.
All right. So, control room, you can hear us okay, right? I just want to make sure before. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So welcome back. We have a brand new year and a brand new episode. We are here with a friend of ours that we have had here before. If you guys tuned in, it was over the summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys tuned in over the summer, you would have noticed that the guy who's sitting to my left has been here before. And we had a great time last time you were here.
Yeah.
I do remember that you kind of had a bug out at halftime a little bit because things were getting a bit thick.
I took a step out.
Yeah. Well, the late night show, shit happens on the late night show. The interview show, we're safe on the interview show. There's nothing bad's going to happen on this one. But Raymond Palidora, a cannabis researcher with
me.
Thomas Jefferson University, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, man.
Yeah.
And a new year brings some new stuff, which is kind of why you're here tonight, right?
Yeah.
A whole new set of stuff.
A whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah. So Raymond, he's joining us because obviously things with the rescheduling, and though it doesn't affect the consumers that much, it affects him a lot.
Major.
And so we're going to dive deep into the world of understanding more about what Ray does and specifically what changes have happened that allow him to do more things. And we want to know what that all means, right?
Yeah, it's a big change.
It's a huge change, right?
Yeah.
So real quick before we get started, guys, make sure that you tune in to the Canologist. The Canologist is on Friday nights. Our boy Steve makes cannabis cocktails that are highly crafted, and they are like top-tiered cocktails. So we just did shows on Christmas Eve, and we did shows on New Year's Eve, and we had a drink that was specific for Christmas, and one was specific for New Year's, and they were good, man. He had Pop Rocks in the New Year's drink.
Wow. Pop Rocks is happening, baby.
Pop Rocks. And so, our boy down at the lounge, he sat in and tasted the New Year Eve drink. And so he got through all these different flavors and layers. And then he goes, yo, man, it's just popping in my mouth now. So he got pop, and then really popped at the end. So
I don't know if I want shit popping off in my mouth.
Well, listen, it makes you feel like a kid, right? It makes you feel like a kid, brother. Yeah. But anyway, guys, tune in. Canologist on Cough Country TV. Be sure to tune in. He premieres on Fridays at 7 p.m. So tune in. And then you also get the videos if you want to see how he makes those ingredients from his own kitchen. We do that as well.
Very elaborate.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, make sure you tune in to the Canologist. We've got all types of... I'll just mention right out of the gate that there won't be a late-night show tonight, which is going to be an interview show only. We're making some changes and some additions and some things that we're going to do to the late-night show. We've got a new member of the late-night show that we're going to be adding in. And, we're going to be changing how Bill brings us the news, and there's going to be some changes. And so that's kind of what we're working on behind the scenes. We're going to have that back out as quick as we can, hopefully Thursday, but if not Thursday, Tuesday. But I think we're looking good for Thursday. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Late Night Green late night show. But tonight we're going to focus on learning something because that's what we do for our interview shows. We learn shit. So I guess the best place to start is just recapping where we are. Mm-hmm. So last time you were here, you told us about your history. You guys can go check out the last interview. You told us what kind of got you into this and why. You gave us a little bit of the how. Mm-hmm. You gave us some challenges. But now a new day is a dawn. And where do we go from here? So I think maybe we go from here. Let's start with what some of the changes were. So, maybe in your words, since they've heard us say it a million times, rescheduling. What does rescheduling mean?
Sure. So everyone always hears, cannabis is Schedule 1, Schedule 1, Schedule 1. So
Yep.
we've heard that 100 times. And now all the news with Schedule 3. So Schedule 1, where cannabis was, that is where there's no known medical use or knowledge or understanding of that, and very, very high risk for abuse. It's essentially the two biggest things, that there's nothing medical about it, and if anybody uses it, they'll just abuse it and get addicted to it. Schedule 3 opens up a lot of doors because not only does it kind of broaden the legality of everything, it opens up things in my world, because with Schedule 1, you can't do clinical trials with a Schedule 1 drug, and nor can doctors prescribe a Schedule 1 drug. So I know people think about medical marijuana. Well, people can get certified. There's patients.
Right.
Those doctors don't prescribe cannabis. They just give a recommendation that then the patient goes to the dispensary.
But you have been researching cannabis, and so what was that under? What provisions or
So a lot of the research that I do, or we're allowed to do, is a lot of it's observational. So we ask the cannabis patient or the user, what cannabis are you using? And we get surveys and questionnaires, but we can't do, a controlled randomized
you're not
study.
administering, so you can't.
Right. We're never dispensing the actual cannabis to any subject.
So before this all happened and cannabis was being sent to universities for study, what are they studying and how are they doing that?
So some studies are on a botanical basis. So they're looking at the amount of THC or CBD that are in samples that are found, things like that. So look at strengths and what people are using. Sometimes that happens with, if the just say if the FBI takes a bunch of cannabis from somewhere, sometimes they'll send that to university or a lab to look at what's the strength that was on the street or something like that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of studies with that. And then some of the other ones are understanding how to make different concentrations, how to work with cannabis, are a lot of the other studies. There are a couple universities that are allowed to use it for different types of research where you would administer it, but it's on such a small, very restrictive basis.
And so it's almost non-existent?
Right. So if you were to look at, and I think we're going to look at some studies in a little bit, some of them will always say, while we have this preliminary data, there needs to be randomized control studies, there needs to be clinical trials, there needs to be, because there's not really much actual data of randomized control, long-term studies, placebo-controlled.
So do you see this new change in scheduling now? Will they be able administering, maybe broaden a little bit?
For sure. Yeah. So that those types of drugs that are Schedule 3, where cannabis will be.
Like steroids.
Exactly. Testosterone, anabolic steroids, those things. Those can be used in clinical studies. Now, obviously, the FDA
They
is
can
still
be
involved.
administered and studied.
Exactly.
And documented.
Exactly.
So I don't know how any study before this was even worth its weight in anything. And I'm not trying to criticize. I wouldn't never criticize your work, but just in theory, it doesn't seem like it's something that you could ever hang your hat on, because if you have 100 people that smoke weed, I mean,
you definitely had limitations.
what you smoke and what somebody else smokes is different. How you smoke is different. The quality of what you smoke would be different, and then what you know to even report to him.
Exactly.
Right.
And your level of education
Yeah.
about the cannabis and about the cannabis, about cannabis
Yeah.
and how you use it. Their knowledge may not even be there, so they may not even be able to describe properly
Exactly.
in a study how they're even consuming it.
Yep. There's
Great point.
one of the studies that I sent to you guys that we'll look at is actually asking questions of how people want things labeled and what works for them, and what people are looking for, what have they bought, what was they thought was missing on labels and things like that. What's consumer and patient both always have the same kind of answers, and getting into when it's Schedule 3 and then moving into recreational a lot of states, all that information is important, because there's patients who've been using cannabis for a long time who still don't know all the ins and outs of what they're using. Like, oh, no, it's a 5 milligram gummy,
Right.
THC,
That's my,
CBD. And
that's
then,
my very point. Like, my point is that how do you do something where you're trying to study the results of something when everybody's doing not only something different, but they're smoking something different, or maybe they're ingesting it a different way. It's all different.
And the
And you can
understanding
try
of the
to,
product.
you can obviously you try to control. Listen, we want people who smoke joints, and we want
Right.
people who only smoke 1 or 2 a week. Like, I get that. There's
Yep.
parameters, but even with those tight parameters, there's still blaring gaps that you can't.
It's
you
and
know.
it. I mean, even if you're trying to do, I can give you guys both the same vape pen, the same strength. Like, it's from this dispensary. What's a pull for you versus a pull for you?
Right.
You might take a small hit. You might rip it.
That's right. That's probably the
This
way.
is true.
That's probably the way.
Cowboys fans versus Eagles fans.
Exactly.
So
This is
you
true.
know,
Yeah, this is.
He's going to be hogging it. Your battery life must be short.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3
Listen,
polls. And it's,
just because you take smaller hits, man, don't bring that shit on here.
But
man.
yeah,
I got
but
that
it's-
quality
It's
stuff,
those types of things that make research hard. But trying to figure out the methods to study this, people are still going to use it whether we can research it or not. So trying to get that information from people and then figure out like what's the next. And all the studies that are published, there's always like in the discussions like the next study like this, what's the best method of what did we learn, and trying to like try to play off of each other and build a foundation of research to continue looking at it. So.
So with this now, with the changing, I know it's all new right now. So I'm sure
Just
nobody.
happened.
Yeah, this happened. So I know things didn't.
Yeah,
ink
ink hasn't even dried yet on paper, honestly. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a lot of thought and planning.
And
going
throw a
on
few
right
holidays in there, and nothing's happened.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
on vacation, so
now.
that's how.
Well, I mean, obviously nothing's happened yet, but I think what we can talk about, I think we have an idea of what's going to happen. You've been sitting around waiting for this to happen for, I don't know, your entire career.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as someone who I research it, I've been in this field and everything. It's there's obviously pros and cons and drawbacks to a little bit of everything. It helps me out a lot with my research because there's clinical trials we've had on the shelf for forever. Like now we can do this. Now we can actually dispense the drug like from our dispense.
So
like,
now
from pharmacy.
everybody gets the same thing,
Right, and you know
the
what they're
same
getting.
way.
Right, and any other drug that would be tested.
Like this is where the meaningful research is going to finally get done.
Exactly. The drawback on one side with Schedule 3, once there's more memos and information coming out and things to be figured out, but products that are sold when it's Schedule 3 have to be FDA approved. So now with all cannabis products, the FDA has to be involved and the DEA. So there's a whole new kind of system with how those products are given to patients and how that it works.
Yeah, I'm sick of the DEA and all these EA shit, man. Let people do what they need to do.
So now there's going to be a lot more labeling and red tape with certain things. My life is easier because then a lot of research will be open to be able to do,
But yet you'll still
Right.
need various levels of approval from various things, right?
Yeah, from every level. So, I mean, we're allowed to
As
do
you
it.
would if you were doing some studies on steroids.
on literally on anything.
On any three.
Any experimental new drug that's coming out or anything like that, would go through the same steps.
Well, luckily on your end, you want to deal with too much bureaucracy because that'll be taken care of. That'll be someone else's headache. And
True.
Yeah.
There's always things in triplicate and tons of forms I have to fill out, but now there's a lot more that someone.
Ray can't be bogged down with fucking administrative
Yeah.
fucking things.
Right.
He's got research to do, bro.
Exactly.
Well, so obviously the administering of it becomes a game changer when it comes to getting consistent results. So what are some of the things that you're looking forward to as it relates to stuff that you'll participate? Because I know you talked about how you do a lot of cancer research. We talked about how I remember specifically from our last conversation, we talked about how cannabis plays a role in actually, well, we had a conversation. Is it pain mitigation, or does THC actually have the ability to kill cancer cells? We know you're doing that, and you can elaborate and tell us anything new that's kind of cooking there. But what's your next move now? Like, what do you really think is going to happen, like in your
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new, like I said, there's things that ideas or studies that were kind of drawn up with, not, I'm sure researchers all everywhere that are going to be able to be done now. One thing that I've always been interested in, I mean, now we'll be able to like formulate our own product and work with dispensary. Like, hey, we want to make us, that's, I don't know, 5% this with 10% this with 2% that, like, and we can kind of start trying different percentages and not have to worry about the dispensary having that product, that we can kind of have it formulated for research
for what you exactly what you want to try to
exactly
do.
like, hey, like we're
That's
interested
great.
in CBN or CBG or this terpene, or so we can kind of like really fine tune things, but also to be able to have placebo controlled things and have like, all right, you're getting this person's getting this, and looking at 3 or 4 different methods, and look, any ailment you name it, we can start really focusing on. There's so many with pain and sleep and anxiety and things like that, but more Alzheimer's, PTSD. I'm interested in like how it might help migraines and headaches, because I did headache research for a little while in neurology research, and so just understanding like more fine tuning of research.
There's a lot of people who suffer from like debilitating migraines.
More than you think. It's like
It's a lot, and I mean, I've known just from some of those folks that I've talked to that they've been able to seek, some help with cannabis in terms of that. So that's awesome. One of the things I think you could look at is the fact that, and I don't know if it's just, this is just my personal opinion, but I think cannabis has a level of fountain of youth involved in it. And if you look at people who have been smoking since their early ages, they're extremely well preserved. Is there? Am I just like tripping? Am I tripping, or is there something to this? And is there a study that needs to happen?
I mean, I think there can be definitely some like longitudinal type of information. Like, first we would get information of asking people in populations, just say like one generation, like baby boomers or something, what percentage of them and how long have they been using cannabis for, and then start to see like more cannabis users have less of these things going on, like ailments or
I could say maybe less stress.
Maybe exactly
conducive
Stress,
to longer life.
Literally
some things of
cardiac,
that nature.
exactly, cardiac issues and whatever else too. So you can kind of, I'm sure there's parallels and a lot of correlates you can make with that, but I don't know. I mean, there definitely haven't been too many studies that have probably looked into it.
So aging has to do with like oxidation, internal oxidation, basically. Or
It's basically your body constantly repeats and remakes DNA. It's almost a perfect process, but over a long time, it's a slower process, and your body's not as good at it. And then there's different things that can like add to that process of not being as good as like.
So if there was any credibility to the fact that cannabis slowed that down, it would be how it affects that particular process.
That
right?
and stuff, or maybe blocking out other things that would affect it, or things like that too.
Interesting.
So, and who's to say?
Many layers.
What'd you say?
A lot of layers of this.
There is a lot of layers.
That's what I mean, and that's every research study that's done when they publish something, when you have your findings or discussion, that opens the doors. Like, well, we found this, but this opens 3 more types of studies that can be done. It's like,
It could be good for employment as well. A lot more studies, we need more people, and we get a lot more
we
information.
need more cannabis researchers. So
Yeah, great.
So I forgot to ask you last time. I
Sure.
know, like, we're jumping around a hair, but I forgot to ask you.
Please.
I was going to do it in the beginning, but so after your last appearance here, what kind of feedback did you get from your community? Because that's something I never asked you. And
sure, yeah, no, people were into it. I think any avenue that we can. I mean, and you guys are for this too. Like, just deafening stigma about cannabis in general, no matter what it is, whether it's use, whether it's research, whether it's being used to it in your neighborhood because there's a dispensary now, whatever it is. I think that's the number one thing. So people were for it, just for like getting the word out of more positive vibes about cannabis in general. But my research friends inside, like, they were all for it. It was a great experience, and they liked it a lot.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You let your hair down.
Yeah.
Well, he did so much he had to leave at halftime. His hair was dragging on the ground. So, all right. So, I don't know, Todd. What do you got? What do you got to say?
Well, I think it's it's an exciting thing there. So I guess there's a lot of planning is going to go on there. So do you have any specific areas that you're interested in that you would like to see research done?
Yeah, I think I mean, having now done this pain management study or working on it and working and seeing data on other ones that we've worked on, getting more like digging deeper into different types of pain that people have, and chronic pain, like I said, migraine and headache, and like what different, now we're learning more about terpenes. And
Right.
so what mixes really, CBG, all these other cannabinoids that really need to be researched that definitely haven't been before.
And how about ingestion method? Because I can say that if I eat it, I get more of a body type of reaction and not a head reaction. You've told me the same thing. A lot of people say that. I would assume that would go into some of these studies in terms of like maybe there's a certain way you need to do some things more so than what it is you need.
There's a lot of people who, medical patients, but also just in general, if you're building these types of research studies, smoking and vaping, that hits you faster than waiting a half hour, an hour for an edible. So we have to keep that in play of like what the patient might like or want. And then they also usually have like a plethora of things like, all right, well, I really wanted to smoke my vape. That works the best, but I didn't want to get high right away, so I went for the edible because I wanted to like lull me to sleep or like those types of things. So trying to understand like what like the reaction, and then everything that might hit you quicker than somebody else. So trying to figure out what milligrams versus how much somebody weighs, if they've been hydrated, did they eat today, like
all of those.
So many variables.
Right.
Just like you would regulate any other drug. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's there's guidelines and kind of like where you can start, right. But understanding that is definitely to be seen.
Yeah, interested to see where how this is going to come out.
Yeah,
it's interesting. So, so I know that the rescheduling is no magic wand. There's no magic about it, right?
Sure.
So what challenges still remain? Like what things can't you do? I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff you still can't do.
Sure. I mean, in in PA or even like Jersey has medical and recreational, and PA there's still the recreational restriction. There's some states that it's Schedule 3, so they can do research and things, but on the market there's no recreational, so they really can only still get it through research. Like in Tennessee has basically no cannabis at all that's legal. So the only way someone in Tennessee can get it legal would be through research. So that opens up the door there, but it's still pretty restrictive in every other way. So again, like
there's still state by state issues.
Exactly. And standardization of.
But you only have to apply the state that your research is done in.
That I'm researching done it, but the one study that I'm doing, we're working with the University of Buffalo and Penn and other places
and
as
that
well.
complicates things,
right? Because now you're cross state, and like I said, the FDA has to be involved. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, some of those other states still can use your research information.
Right? Oh, for sure.
Yeah. They just can't. They just may not be able to participate in
right.
certain parts of it, or they can do parts and not other parts.
And and there's, on the other hand, you can, with certain Schedule 3 restrictions, you can do things in other states. So there's a lot of like.
It's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
provide ultimate clarity. This is not a wave. This is not we wait and wave a wand and
Right.
now you guys can do what you want to
Like
do.
there'll be a lot of questions along the way of like, okay, what's the timeline for this? There's going to be rollouts. So a lot of things to still be figured out, I'm sure.
So, like back to the whole ingestion thing, I see this new thing, and a lot of people, even Steve's talking about it, nano infused, which is supposedly able to get this 60-minute delay thing cut,
Right.
if not significantly cut. You know anything about it?
So it's because it's fairly new. I don't know how long it's been like on the market.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's probably longer than I'm aware of it, but it's not something that I've looked too far into it. I'm aware of it, and I know like some different research subjects have asked me about it because they see it or they're like it's advertised to them or something. I'm sure there's some sort of. I'm sure it works to whatever degree, but I don't know how far every company might be studying it or looking into
Hey,
it. But
I
don't
guess-
really.
Is that a type of topical treatment? Something?
No,
Or-
It's an ingestible.
Yeah,
okay?
it's ingestible. So, like, I've talked to some companies that say that their edible products are nano infused, and so now you get over not having to wait this 60-minute period for you to feel any effects. Like
Right.
they're saying 10 to 15 minutes.
And I know there are products that they have used fast acting and those types of things before, and I know those do work. I think nano infused is going to be the new buzzword in the market to sell.
Well,
those
buzzword's
products.
one thing, right? Buzzword's one thing, but is there a research element that could help administer things
Sure.
down the road while it's novelty now? Is there some science in that?
Sure. If there's a way that's if we find come to find like these products that are nano infused, it's always 15, 20 minutes is most of the time that gets in your
Right.
system more than a regular edible, then for sure that'll be, because that's just as quick as any
Yeah.
other smoking something.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
It's for an edible.
Yeah.
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 I mean, sometimes it can take over an hour for an edible.
Yeah.
Right? So
And people fall into the trap where that's not working. Let me take some more.
happens.
And then,
Boom.
boom. then you got like an OD thing. So some of the challenges are state to state things. Are there others? Like is there some other stuff?
I mean, it's going to be with the new NIH and how things are running. Like I said, like the FDA, DEA, those types of things getting involved. I don't know if they're going to limit how many types of clinical trials are going to be run at a time, or what the NIH is willing to set for grant money for cannabis in the future, because there's going to be so many applications for clinical trials. There's going to be so many. So how they're going to prioritize that and how much money they set aside, knowing that the budget's going to need to be bigger for those types of studies, that remains to be seen. So that could be a barrier where they're like, we still only, I'm making this number up, like, we only have $1 million set aside for cannabis grants. We're not budgeting that. So that's only going to be a little bit of randomized control studies you can do. You can do a lot of observational studies, because those budgets you only need a little budget to ask people questions. But to have a pharmacy involved and give people a drug and whatever, that costs a lot more money. So they haven't really said how much they're going to move the budget for these.
And where does the
subsidies.
funding come from?
So the ones that would be, I mean, technically they can be privately funded if you find a dispensary to help you with those things. But normally, because either a larger sponsor, like a larger pharmaceutical company, usually gets involved because, again, they're expensive, or it's the NIH. Like my study's NIH funded, so it's federal dollars. So again, like I don't know if they're going to. How big they're going to move the barriers? I hope a lot, obviously, but
I'd rather see public money funding these. Than,
I agree.
Okay,
that's why I'm hoping that knowing that there's going to be more applications and studies, that they bulk up that budget before something like Johnson and Johnson.
I mean,
gets
can you
involved.
make a promise to Todd and I that you won't take any big tobacco funded money?
Never in my life.
You can't do that.
No, I'm saying I won't. I won't. We'll
good,
never. Yeah.
Good.
No. Yeah.
And if the Todd father wanted to donate $1 million to the cause, how would he do that?
If he wanted to donate $1 million, you can just write it out to me.
Yeah, let him be the custodian.
I'd rather give you cash. Monopoly money, good.
I'll write you a receipt and everything. It'll be fine.
Oh, good.
All right. So,
write off your taxes.
That works.
So, control room. Grab a commercial. In a second, we're going to go to commercial. What we're going to do is go to commercial. When we come back, I want to talk about some stuff. I want to talk about medicinal and versus recreational, because there's a lot of people who say that the whole purpose of medicinal, when recreational rolls in, and even when recreational doesn't roll in, seems to be more diminished and diminished and diminished. And I want to talk about that. I want to get your opinion on that. I want to talk about this chronic cannabis something disorder syndrome, and people are scromiting.
Mises syndrome?
I don't know. They're going to tell me the name in my ear.
Scromiting.
It has to do with scromiting. CHS or something?
I think it's the chronic emesis, like cannabis emesis syndrome, the vomiting one.
Scromiting.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. What?
Yeah, scromining might not be the technical term, but it's
out there.
It's what you're talking about.
It's what they're calling it, and me and Todd are calling shenanigans on this. CHS is what I'm being told in my headsets.
Yeah. Hypermesis.
Hypermesis. Yeah. Did you hear him?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Or really
you
just
said it exactly at the same time he said it in my ear.
silliness while you're getting high.
It's not. I don't think it's real, but we're going to find out if it's real.
If you eat Cheetos too quick, you're going to vomit.
We're going to find out if this shit's real right after this. We'll be back.
Marijuana is huge.
So many dispensaries have resorted to a bland, impersonal shopping experience, where you often don't even get to see a sample of the cannabis you're planning on purchasing before you buy it. If you're looking for that extra personal touch, come check out High Roller Dispensary in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Our staff are avid cannabis connoisseurs who are sure to help you find the strains that fit you best. Whether you're looking for premium flower, edibles, concentrates, or tinctures, we have you covered with over 100 different strains to choose from, all of which are able to be seen, smelled, and thoroughly examined in our elegant showroom. If you're in a rush, we offer a seamless online ordering system that allows for in-depth exploration of all that we have to offer. So whether you're a novice or a seasoned stoner, be sure to stop by High Roller Dispensary and we'll make sure you're floating on cloud 9 by the time you leave.
Right around here, 15 inches, maybe if you're younger, you go up to 19 inches, you know? Yeah, you know, you already went the big age.
Sometimes a CIO might make commitments to a CEO that they just can't fulfill. And it's very hard to succeed in those environments. You really want to be able to set the expectation right up front.
How would you feel with no sex, no weed for a month or two? I'm going to be really angry.
I just feel sorry for Jake.
Yeah, Jake's going to get fucked up.
Wow, this is Phil. Yeah, for this is all you. This is the Cough Country OG pink hoodie.
Hey, I'm OG Ganja Goddess, and you're watching Cough Country TV. Peace.
This is Chef Marvin Jane, and you're watching Cough Country TV, live from New York.
Hello? I don't see anything. Check the output. There we go. And we are back. That's okay, Jeff.
You know what? I have one question, man. You know, our track is banging, man.
Our what?
Our track that we use, you know, our music.
Yeah.
Man,
You
is
like
that gonna
that?
be up for a Grammy or something? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who got a better beat than that?
And it's copyright free.
You know what I'm saying?
Public domain.
I'm hoping that we get some artists to give us some fresh cuts that we can, you know, get those incorporated into our thing. Your mic keeps rising up like that.
Yeah.
They need adjusted. Yeah, we got to adjust these bad boys. All right. So, Jeff, I don't think anybody heard that because that was on Talkback. He said if his mic rises up for longer than 4 hours, he should seek medical attention.
I'm gonna be all right then.
Yeah, I think the Todd father would definitely wait 6 hours before he got medical attention.
I'm not gonna rush that call.
Yeah. All right, so we are back, and we are here with Raymond Palidora. I had the hardest time with your name, bro.
Palidora?
Palidora.
Yeah.
Man, what the fuck is wrong with me? Where's my button? I got to do it to myself.
Stupid.
Man,
I cannot get this right, man.
We're still trying to verify if you matriculated.
All right. So we are going to, not that long ago, we did a story on this CHS thing. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing that I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. We never heard of this. This didn't exist until, I never even heard of it until a month ago. Okay? And then on top of it, they're showing people in the hospital. Remember that girl we were laughing at?
The one that banged hand on a door.
Yeah, another one who's banging. Yeah, all of this shit. I wish we had those videos. We don't because I didn't have them ready for tonight. But I don't think it's real. You don't think it's real.
You know what? I think it's copycat shit.
But some people were in the comments saying it is very real and that we're insensitive to the fact that that's really a real thing. If it's a real thing, then why is it that people were not being hospitalized 5 or 10 years ago with scromiting? Scromiting is when you scream and vomit at the same time.
Oh, that's what that is.
That's what that is.
What's the scream part all about?
That means that what's happening is so, I wasn't going to say fuck, but it's so fucking bad that you not only vomit, but you have to scream while you're vomiting.
Well, what the hell are they smoking?
And this is why we're going to ask Ray, because you and I can sit here and we can debate our ignorance all night long. And while we don't think it's real, it could be real. I just don't know why we never heard of it. So
that's the reason why they need to go to a dispensary somewhere where they know what they get.
Regulated shit.
Regulated.
Yep. I mean and it's not even good. It's not even that good at the dispensary. So you must be smoking a serious fucking trash. So you smoking some Mexican brown weed or some shit. All right, enough. Raymond, set us straight on CHS. What do you know about it?
So I know that it is, I think it was this past year, this fall actually, don't quote me on that, but I think recently it's recognized by the World Health Organization.
It just got a code.
And then I can't remember when, but I know the NIH at least recognized it at some point within the same time frame. I don't know if they labeled it as the same thing, but I know they recognized it as a term that could be searched in PubMD and those kind of things. It's something that isn't researched a ton, but at least that there's prevalence enough that it seems to be what causes it and why and everything is who's to say. I would, if it was my personal opinion, I think it's probably a mix of some sort of bad product with way too high THC at the same time.
With people who can't handle it.
And now that, and if you go with something that says dispensary and you get just say way too high THC mixed with kratom and who knows what else, if your body rejects that, I wouldn't be shocked. The part of it that's chronic, I have a friend who had CHS, or at least was told that's what she had for a while. I mean, she basically stopped smoking for a while. And then when she eventually kind of inched her way back into cannabis, it seemed to help. And I don't think she does crazy high dosage or dabs or anything anymore. So it seems to be some sort of phenomenon. I don't know, because again, it's not researched enough to know if it is a chronic phenomenon that doesn't have a treatment or something. But I would assume that when it's diagnosed or looked at or marked on someone's chart in a hospital or something, it's probably a one-off thing caused by some sort of, I don't know, what bad mix or high THC level or something like that.
I've been aware over the years of certain people who just don't tolerate any levels of THC. So I believe that that's real. I believe all of our bodies are wired up different.
Yep.
And while most of us, we all have our receptors, and most of those receptors are open and welcome to most, some people, they're not.
It's true.
But I don't think this is what this is. this seems to be because people who have no tolerance for THC, they know it immediately. You don't need to do it for 6 months and then end up in the hospital because you just figured it out.
Yep.
People who they can't tolerate it, from the moment they smoke any of it, they're sick.
And a lot of I don't know the exact how many, but with my friend and other cases that were like case studies, like one-off and everything, seem to be some people who were chronic users and then developed this to whatever degree. How long they were using, I don't know. That's probably not data we have, but there are some people who are chronic users and then developed this at some point, had to kind of stop. So I don't know if there's something that maybe it's their body kind of, look at it, maybe it's an allergy of some sort, allergy or
that's what
immune
I'm thinking,
response.
maybe an allergy or something.
Because you can eat shrimp your whole life and all of a sudden,
and that makes sense because
it.
allergies developed. You don't have to have one today to have an allergy tomorrow, right?
So maybe that's how we understand it. Is maybe it's a short-term immune response.
Maybe,
possibly.
But mixed with a little drama. That's what I'm saying on the video.
Drama.
So
did you say drama? Did you say drama?
Drama.
Go ahead and play that video real quick.
Oh my gosh. What do I do?
Now.
Well, that's fake. We all know that's fake.
That was just a sound effect. She didn't even bang her head.
Yeah. None of that happened. But people now become aware of it, right? And whenever someone becomes aware of it, people get that. Like all of a sudden, because it exists.
Copycat.
Like you have something just because it exists. So I guess there's some truth to it, but there's also some sensationalism going on.
I guess it would be with anything with the internet days. I know the one thing that I've read that I know seems to be something that helps with CHS, or I guess with the symptom of it when you're in the middle of, I guess, scromiting, it's called, is taking a hot shower is a known thing that helps. But that's like a documented thing. Yeah, that's like taking a hot shower helps with hyperemesis, apparently.
Really?
So that's something that's documented.
Would you like to see a video where we were super insensitive about somebody who was hospitalized for it?
Sure.
All right, put the girl in the hospital video on if you don't mind.
I'm interested in seeing it.
Yeah, because this one we took some heat on. I'm not going to do any laughing.
I love you. It's ruining my life.
I can't help it. I laughed. There's something wrong with us.
No, well, I mean, that's setting us up with this, You see some shit like that, and it just makes you say,
I don't know
what's going on.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to imagine that you're on your deathbed because of some weed.
Yeah, again, unless you had some bad stuff, or there is a study done by, I think it was Penn. I know it was one of the major Philadelphia outlets had it, that it was an issue with a lot of different products that were tested in the Philadelphia southern PA region, and there was a lot of they went to a lot of like dispensaries that weren't medical, and found a lot of like bad stuff in a lot of the products. So again, like who knows if that person.
When you say bad stuff, are we talking mold or worse?
Molds, different levels of toxins, different levels of heavy metals, different.
Do they test?
So you're talking about like illegal?
Yeah. It's like some. Yeah, like.
Do they test for microplastics?
I would assume certain dispensaries do or would. These other places probably don't.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. And soon that maybe that lady took God knows what from who knows, and that's what made her sick rather than the actual cannabis itself, obviously. But
well, I hope she didn't die because we don't want to see any of that. But
no, we don't want to see that. But it could have been that cake she ate too. She looked a little large laying up on that.
Yeah. All right. So we handled CHS. Yeah. What I want to talk about, and this is something I'm really thinking about doing a deeper dive on, but let's just kind of have a surface conversation about it right now, which is medical programs, the medicinal programs, and how they've kind of lost their luster with dispensaries, with the
recreational stuff.
Yeah, with all the recreational going on. What are your thoughts on the medical program, and what could we do to potentially save it? How do we put emphasis back on that part of it, and how do we not lose this part of it? Because it's very easy.
That's something that one thing that I'm researching with a colleague friend of mine who she does a lot of research in that of impact of legislation on medical infrastructure with cannabis, and also just like stigma things and things like that. And she is trying to look at state by state and do comparisons of the way they rolled out recreational and how that affected medical, or if they did both at the same time and the ways that they did that.
Super interested.
So,
I'm sorry. One more question to add to that, all related, is what is the differentiate between the medical product and the recreational product? For the people out there who don't know,
So the actual product themselves, not much really. So there's like at a dispensary, usually you always see like the medical counter. Like if you go to somewhere in Jersey, there's the medical side, or in Colorado they'll have like all the stuff over here is medical.
Colorado
has that.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I was going to mention when you paused, that I felt like Colorado may have done it the best that I've seen. Because when recreational became, it is. Listen, a lot of places, even like Maine and stuff, they'll keep it separate. There's places that will keep it separate, but separate's not the same as having a different program, like having different kinds of cannabis. You go to Colorado. At least when I was there last, there were strains of weed that they weren't available. Like you weren't getting those unless you had a card. Now you go to most places and you don't give a shit if you have a card. So tell us about some of the other findings.
So if we look at like New Jersey, which has both recreational and medical, they, because you can get recreational, they see kind of a decrease slowly with medical certification. That in face value is, okay, well, whatever, as long as they can get product, it's whatever. What happens is a couple things. When somewhere goes recreational that has medical, really the dispensary is, and the I guess the industry is just selling either way. So sometimes there's no regulation and standard of that dispensary holding medical product. So now I can go to that dispensary, if I was a patient, just say, I'm like, oh, I finally found this edible that really works for me. And I can go and be like, oh, well, it's sold out. Here's what else we have. There's no like Colorado does where they're like, this is the medical stuff. But in a lot of those states, there's no real, it's everything at the store is
available.
Fair game. Yeah.
Right? So that's, so it hurts with supply and demand as far as what you can get as a patient sometimes.
And I think it hurts the manufacturing side by not putting an emphasis on it, because I think you can, cultivate things specifically for medicinal that, if there was an emphasis on it.
Especially if more research comes, like just say if we find strain X this is one of the best we've studied for depression, whatever it is. Then you can then you can start making that for at the medical counter. This is the depression strain, and kind of get that going.
But the legislators of the state, I mean, those who are putting these programs together, they're going to have to build this. They have to build the importance of the medical program into the
exactly, because it's with the expense part. You got to register, renew it every year. So. For instance, I know in New Jersey, I know someone, when it was just medical and the term recreational, one of the benefits of being a medical patient is their hours, they can come in an hour or two earlier than the recreational people. Okay. Things of that nature. Now, that's a small benefit, because a lot of times, you look at there's only a certain amount of places, and then, you run out of a certain brand. So that's one small benefit, but there needs to be some differentiation for somebody to be paying his fee every year.
And that's another thing too. So the great point, because that's what happened. Like they try and have some sort of incentive to, if you are or continue to be a patient, here's this, maybe a discount or hours and that kind of thing. Well, from my point of view, or from my kind of world of research and data and everything, when you have less patients getting certified and then going to still self-medicate, that's not in their chart. That's not any information anybody can pull. That's not real-world data that we can get.
That's true.
And so, and they're still going to self-medicate. They're just not going to do it with their doctor and have it charted and what they tried, what didn't work, what worked, for that patient specifically, but also just for real world data.
If Pennsylvania thinks that, I mean, they just have a medical program right now. If they open up recreational and their weeds know better than it is now, they don't have a medical program.
Exactly.
What's a medical program if the weed's not different?
Well,
Because I can go there 2 hours
Right,
early.
exactly. That's to me.
Yeah, you
I
can
see
go there
that.
8 in the morning
I don't
instead of
care.
10.
If I have to go 2 hours early, so what? Like, I don't even give a fuck. Most people don't even have to go to get it delivered.
Well, the other kind of side of the coin there is with Schedule 3, and this is yet to be seen. It's not particularly like figured out, but if they allow for now medical insurance to be involved, and if it's seen as a medicine and there's medical use and everything, and if insurance can cover some of it, do we see a flow of people getting certified because now insurance is paying for part of it?
Right.
And does that get flooded?
Does that
I
trigger?
Probably not,
Right.
but that's another kind of cog in the wheel of things to kind of
But in the
consider.
meantime, it's like, hey, I don't need. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
need my license,
if you're
medical
in Jersey,
license.
you're just like, I talked to my doctor about it. They said I can try some CBD, whatever, but I'm just going to go to the dispensary and buy it. I'm
Right.
not going to go through the whole wait for my card to come in the mail and like what's the
Pay
incentive?
all this fee, pay the fees.
Listen, one of the advantages of basically descheduling is is basically then the federal government would have the ability to set a precedence on what medical cannabis is
Right.
and what recreational is, and they could stop leaving it to 50 different states to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, there's new federal standards, guidelines, label, whatever.
So I'm
it is.
just trying to think, like, what could really save the medical program of cannabis, and that's one of the things that could, because
Is pricing a differentiator? You know, I would say, hey,
it should
if
be.
I'm this state, so
Yep.
we got already had medical, now I'm going recreational. How do we keep the value of that? Hey, maybe $5 cheaper, per package or something.
Right.
Well, my whole thought with the CHS is that they're creating NIH and so forth, WHO. They're creating a code. Code to me tells me something that can be billed. If there's a code for it, then there's a value to the care. There's all that shit that goes into it. So to me, there's a reason that there's a code is because all these fucking people don't know what they're doing with weed. They end up in the hospital. Insurance don't know what to do with it. So let's fucking create a code.
Yep.
Right? And now we have a code that we can now charge, and so when we say, well, where did this come from? That's where it came from.
Yep.
It came from money, like everything else comes from.
We have a medicinal urgent care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For that specific code.
We have a medicinal urgent care right here at the studio. It's like it's called the DAB station. It's right over there. But no, I mean, and the reality of it is that like a lot of this is bullshit. A lot of this is money. A lot of this is insurance. If you're saying how to make medicinal be valuable like medicine, then we should be able to use insurance against it. You should be able to go get whatever weed and what's your copay? $20 for prescription. That's what you should pay for your weed. $20.
Yeah, a lot of copays if it's cheaper.
And if your doctor says that you should have a half ounce a week or a quarter ounce a week or an eighth of the week, that's what your insurance covers.
Well,
are you running for office?
I will be.
I'll be your biggest constituent.
Yeah.
I mean, with that, literally with that whole statement, do pharmacies get a play in that? Can you go to CVS eventually?
And the answer is no.
Right.
At least, right? Does it has to be no. You can't do to these people
Now
what
you're going to devalue the whole.
I agree with you.
You can't
devalue your own industry.
But those companies are going to push to try and have their hands on it, obviously. So.
And listen, they are phenomenal at not innovating shit,
right?
And working off of somebody else's fucking hard work and
what we
trying to figure
know,
out how to incorporate it into their thing. So
exactly. And what we know won't happen is none of those companies will lobby politicians to get their way. So that's great.
Fuck you, do.
So it's. To answer everything, it's a very complex, multifaceted system, and because it's state by state, it makes it even 50 problems.
You're right. It's very layered. It's complex, but I really think that it's important. If this is a medicine, it's important for us to retain the medical part of this. And there was one point in time, at least in a state like Colorado, when I went there, where you could tell and you knew that the weed on this side ain't the weed on this side, and the only way you're going to have a strong medical program is to do it that way. You just can't just like put it over on the other side of the store with the same thing and say it's medical.
Yeah, medical is there, but it's like, well, it looks the same to me.
Yeah,
like it's not. You know,
like you should
emphasize the medicinal purposes of
and should a bud
market that
and should a
say,
bud
this
tender,
is why you should be buying this product from here.
And should a bud tender have different qualifications to work with a medical patient than a recreational patient?
Yeah,
for sure. You know, I guess you definitely need to experience bud tenders on the medicinal side, and would like to see it on both sides.
Yeah.
But if you're on the recreational side, a lot of times that's the same thing, though, right? One company, right?
Well, that's some, and this is another thing again, state by state, where some states require a pharmacist to be present at, because it's just medical. Like PA, there has to be a pharmacist at the dispensary that the patient can ask questions to, refer to, whatever.
Right.
And even patients who still go to a medical dispensary with the pharmacist there, they still feel they're getting a very retail experience.
Right.
Because what's the federal standard for bud tenders? Nothing.
But the person ringing you up at the pharmacy
is
not the one answering your pharmacist questions either.
Exactly. So that's the thing too, is with Schedule 3 and push for everything we talked about, there needs to be some sort of standardization to whatever degree for.
And see, I don't think the federal government has really much of a play in any of these things, but it has a play here. Like, if you really want to make medicinal programs strong, then take the limitations off of it and say what, from a federal perspective, what the criteria for medical is. It has to be in a separate place. It has to have separately trained and higher trained bud tenders. You have to have a certain higher level product. It has to be inspected by somebody. Something has to fucking make it more than what it is right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I think maybe, but still maybe have it in one location, because
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't need to stand. I don't need to stand in the other corner of the store. If I'm getting my medical in this spot, and the person next to me is standing right next to me, and they can't get it, so what?
Yeah, it helps with
Get
stigma
a card.
too. It helps. It helps
if you
with
want
stigma.
that. If you get a card, if you want that.
Yeah, I have. This is my medicine. Sorry, like that's it's. I don't care what you're here for. Like, I'm here to get my medicine.
Yeah.
And I think that labeling better, all the standardizations will help less stigmatize those like people who want to get their medicine for whatever they're using it for.
Right on. All right, so here's what we got. We're getting towards the end here. There's some things here that you brought. Now, I only got a couple of these because anything that came in PDF, we didn't realize, but we can't put PDFs in production. So the JPEGs that you sent over, we're going to pop those up full screen, and I'm going to let you tell us what we're looking at.
Sure.
When we're done that, Ray is going to, he wants to do a little bit of weed claw, so we got weed claw coming up. So tell us what we're looking at.
Sure. So this was made by a friend and colleague of mine. Shout out Amy if you're watching. So she actually made
Shout out Amy.
Yeah, she actually made this for the undergrad class that I teach for medical cannabis. So when we're in the portion of legislation and laws and everything, this is kind of a graphic that we use for when she talks to class, and basically just showing the difference of Schedule 2 and Schedule 3, and what some examples of drugs in those groups, research access, the type of patient impact that might happen within these two groups, and what legal status means, what the prescription means. So see in Schedule 3, under prescription, those can be prescribed, where I mentioned before in Schedule 1, where cannabis is coming from, there's no actual prescription. So now doctors can write a prescription for cannabis once all the Schedule 3 kind of legislation goes through. And kind of a breakdown. Again, you mentioned before testosterone.
And what's a prescription? Like, what's technically a prescription?
So the prescription itself would be sent to, I guess in this case, it would be sent to the dispensary, and that's what has to be dispensed to that patient. So right now for cannabis under Schedule 1, like I said, the doctor who gets the patient their certification can only give a recommendation, like, hey, like, this is probably where it works for you. I would look for something in this range for milligrams, go for an edible, blah, 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 blah. But when they get to the dispensary, it's still kind of a retail experience, because they talk to the bud tender, they look around, they kind of Google it themselves. So for Schedule 3, the doctor would write the prescription like they would anything else, and send that to the dispensary, and then when, Joe Smith shows up, this is his prescription and this is his bag, and he's good to go. So there's no more retail expense. They can still probably have that.
But that's the way it should be, I think, right?
Yeah.
if you're going to make it 100% medical.
Then
Yeah, that's
what
the
you
process you need
That's
to.
the process you have
That's
to
the
go
expectation.
through. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is there anything on there else that you wanted to?
Oh, so this is something proposed to have a specific. There is a Schedule 4 and 5 and other types of schedules for drugs right now. But this is different proposed things from different types of cannabis researchers and medical professionals and things of should cannabis have its own kind of little own schedule, like Schedule 6 or kind of its own little thing, and what that would mean, and have its own little kind of state.
So there's a Schedule 6 that exists, or is this proposed?
So this one is proposed. There's a 4 and 5. The Schedule 6, I think there is, but it's its own little. It's a state by state kind of thing. This one, it was just one that proposed by Amy, who I mentioned before, but in other groups mentioning different things that could be done to keep the medical, kind of what we talked about, the medical things intact, while states continue to do their own recreational
but
laws.
interstate commerce between 6 permanent licensed businesses, so that's a big deal.
Exactly. So opening certain doors to allow, and that would be the same thing for research, like we mentioned before too, of allowing different bodies and access of research and or business. And then same thing for no criminal penalties associated. Like, it wouldn't be a crime to have cannabis under this schedule and everything too, and keep that kind of going. So it's just something that, while Schedule 3 is good, like trying to continue to push cannabis into it really is its own thing. Because what other drug is this access to recreational and medical?
But a lot of these things would come with a D schedule as well.
Exactly.
So is six? You don't consider 6 better than a D schedule? You'd see 6 as a compromise between where we're at now and there.
Yeah, and I think not that it can never be, but I think it would be a compromise just to keep, I guess, highlight medical infrastructure continuously.
Okay.
Yeah. Push all the buttons.
Yeah, just like, hey, if the states again wants to decide recreational and they have that legislation, but then keep cannabis in this kind of little medical legal bubble in its own way.
So that's a new word now. Before is, hey, let's go 1 to 3. Now let's talk about that's 6.
4, 5, 6, 7.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go, baby.
Well, let's deschedule it. How's that?
That'd be another 10 years.
So.
Or more.
No, I mean, Ray, listen, we learned, again, I'm really appreciate you coming in and helping us understand some of this, because we understood that this was a big deal, not so much for what consumers could expect, but we know it's a big deal in the marketplace and specifically the research environment, the arena, so to speak. So yeah, learning this stuff and being able to share it with you, you're always welcome here, and you're a friend of the show, and we appreciate you being here. Before you leave, and we'll do last words in a second, but before you leave, you want to take a shot at the Weed Claw?
I'd love to.
All right, let's do it. Let's pop that off. Jeff, get ready for Weed Claw, baby. All right, here's a quarter.
Let's go.
Does it matter which one?
I think on the right side.
Right's a little better.
I heard that drop.
There we go. All right, hang on a second. Is that countdown's going on? Fucking Weed Claw. Oh, here we go.
There it is.
All right, hang on, Ray. Go to the other camera if we could. Oh, it's opposite. Front is, it's opposite.
Oh, he's going for the grab.
Oh!
First try.
God damn, we giving
Man.
we're getting Acer going out the door,
skills,
bro.
man. That's skills right there.
Right on, brother.
Man.
I'll take it.
How come
Let's see what you got. What do you get? An eighth of candle. Oh no, this is not. This is 1 gram
vape?
This is cured hash rosin. This is a vape.
There you go.
Right on.
Awesome.
All right.
One of the purer kinds.
Man, we got the gifts coming out of Weed Claw,
Man,
brother.
the Weed Claw, the best game around.
Man, our guests leave with good shit. All right, let's do final words. Bring up the background music, Jeff. Ray, give us the final word, man. What are you looking forward to? How did tonight go? Give us all of that.
It was a great time. Thank you guys for having me again. I'm looking forward to a new year, new schedule of cannabis, new research being done.
It was good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks. I would love to be back.
Oh, and you will be back, my friend. You will be back.
A true citizen.
True citizen. Mr. Todd, the Todd Father. Tell us what you're thinking.
Man, I'm just excited about 2026.
Me too.
And all the things that are coming. Fabulous guests like right here. And all the information and insight into the industry.
A great way to kick the year off.
Man, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. So, guys, make sure that you guys give us a like, follow, subscribe to Late Night Green. We will let you guys know for Thursday what exactly we are doing. But we've got some new additions. We're going to introduce you to some new people. We've got new segments. Todd and I have new bits. We've got new ways of giving you the stories of the news. It's going to be an exciting year. We've got new companies and sponsors that we're talking to. There's a lot of great stuff going on, and we really, really, really can't wait to see what 2026 has for all of us. But, guys, we appreciate you being here. And be sure to like, follow, subscribe. You know the deal. We need the support. And, man, we'll see you guys next time. Right? Peace.